As a person who has connections to Sumeru IRL, in this video, I will speculate what Sumeru would look like. Is it simply a region based on ancient Persian and Indian civilizations with rainforests, deserts, and books? The answer is complicated. Would you believe me if I say that Sumeru doesn't want outsiders to know what's happening inside the academy? Secrets so big that they are willing to make reaching Sumeru by land as hard as possible, that even the devs decided to delay a patch to find a way. I will dive into the history of ancient civilizations, use the experience I have with South Asian culture and religion, and use in-game maps and hints to uncover what Sumeru would look like. So what is Sumeru? Is it the third chapter of our journey? Simple as it is, the answer is yes. According to NPCs in the already released areas, Sumeru is the region of knowledge. Yai introduced us the Lesser Lord Kusanali, the current Archon of Sumeru, and Dainsleif introduced the Archon of Sumeru as the God of Wisdom. Through all the researchers we have met and Lisa's story, we get to know that Sumeru is most famous for its academia. Interesting enough, the research they do include arcane arts and historical records, basically elemental power and regional history. And just like a typical South Asian university, the standards of graduation is ridiculously high and lengthy, even though it accepts all different types of students from all over Taiwan, which might have taken its inspiration from the ancient University of Nalanda. In old India, during the Gupta Empire era, under the supervision of Buddhist monks, Nalanda Mahavihara was created to study all types of subjects, including 6 different teachings of Buddhism, like how the Sumeru Academia is divided into 6 darshans, possibly supervised by 6 sages. Surprisingly, the word darshana can also be used in the context of, say, philosophy. So the person who teaches philosophy is darshanikaya, which can also be translated to a sage. The direct translation of darshana is scenes, but darshana is philosophy. English has a too little of a vocabulary, so these things happen. The Nalanda University also allows students from all over the world to attend to, including Buddhists and non-Buddhists alike. But during the time of Muslim invasions, it was destroyed and people who carried the knowledge was mass murdered. Later, it was partially restored and existed until some time. If Sumeru is going to play out a similar story, Fatui might burn the academia to push the Dendrochrosis to make an appearance, like the Osiris situation, and the traveler might have to step in. One of the Fatui harbingers, Dotore, from Genshin manga, was chased away from his village and was called a monster by the academia. So he clearly has a personal grudge against the academia, as Senora did to Barbatos. If his revenge and achieving Fatui's goal align, he would gladly burn the academia to the ground. The academia didn't allow groundbreaking experiments like what Dotore was doing, even though what he was doing would largely benefit the academia. Unless experiments are done on humans, the results will be slow, which most investors don't like. So the institutes sometimes push the boundaries of morality and do what they want to make a breakthrough. Like Dotore, other researchers were also denied by the academia simply because they involved the higher powers of the world in their research. Kaushik has a theory about 2 serpent gods, which we know is correct because Enconomia is built upon one serpent's body and the other is Orobashi, who is dead in Tararasuna. And another theory about 5 four winds. This also has certain truth because Istaroth was once worshipped in Mondstadt. But all these theories are rejected by the people because someone used their blind faith to force a fake reality onto them. Like some of my theories. Kaushik is an idiot and makes his theories sound like headcanon. But it's just like he says. She too has no proof to disprove his theory. She too hasn't seen Enconomia. Academia's information network was fed with misinformation from the inside and were forced to believe false reality. So the truths and the lies all sound the same. The academia doesn't like their own researchers finding the truth about Celestia and beyond accidentally while researching ancient ruins and ley lines. I don't think it's simply because the primordial gods doesn't like their dirt getting into public, but rather knowing the truth may lead humans down a path of self-destruction and widespread mass hysteria. Think about it. For example, let's say the world is ending tomorrow. If a person who knows this is powerless, they might emotionally break down and spread the word like wildfire, causing even more problems. If the person is a god, they might take the weight on themselves and try to change fate themselves. spiraling down to self-destruction. Examples are Guizhang, a genius engineer, Makoto, who understood time, and Orobashi, who read the book of Before the Sun and Moon. It is theorized that they all learned parts of the truth. Knowing the truth partially led them all to death. Theories say Orobashi was cursed, but I think he couldn't handle the truth while maintaining his extended erosion from Enconomia. Guizhong challenged Morax knowing the outcome. Makoto went to the battle in Kandria knowing she is not the best at battling instead of sending A. The big talking mushroom in the chasm says ignorance might be a blessing and knowledge might bring forth calamity. This might very well be the reference to what I am saying. And it's not far-fetched to say that the very erosion everyone is afraid of is knowing the truth without context. Kusanali, on the other hand, is the god of wisdom. Definition of wisdom is insight and understanding and accepting something's true purpose. She might have understood that the primordial gods are not simply trying to suppress the humans, but are suppressing them to protect them. With the coming release of Honkai Star Rail, we get to know the Aeons. They are beings that rule over celestial bodies. I'm thinking the primordial one is one of these Aeons who took a liking to this world and protecting it from other Aeons who might find this world a threat. Take this with a grain of salt, but no one acts aggressively without a good reason. Since Kusanali understands this truth, she might be willing to act upon the will of the primordial gods. Only that which graces with the ambrosia of knowledge can flourish into the strong. Knowledge is kind of a double-edged sword, but wisdom allows us to understand that knowledge. This ambrosia of knowledge is the title of Archon. With it, they were also given the knowledge of the truth, but understanding the truth or ignoring it is the Archon's duty. To control the information flow from the outside to the academia, they made the travel routes by land as obstruct as possible. If we look at the map, there is no direct road leading to Sumeru, even though the two regions are connected by land. From Mondstadt to Liyue, we had the Stone Gate border. Even the chasm had a road leading up to it before it was released. To make things even creepier, there might have been a road leading to Sumeru from Liyue, but now only a broken off Stone Gate is left. If people use a road regularly, that path clears up the grass, making a road naturally. This means the road through the Stone Gate was cut down some time ago. And the other possible routes we found are either hidden in the chasm or in the underground mines. Also, there are junctions that people may have used as paths, but this is what they look like now. To make things worse, the entire chasm was closed by the cheesing a while back. Even if we cross the Stone Gate or climb the cliffs of chasm, a huge lake and a river are what's waiting for us. We might be able to cross the river easily, but a regular person would turn back. Of course, there are sea roads, but once the main roads are closed, filtering and keeping tabs on the limited number of people who come from the sea becomes easier. And who in their right mind would go to a university where people research until their hair turns grey from stress? The academia doesn't want unfiltered outside information to flow into the information system in Sumeru and ruin the delicate system they have built upon lies. They don't call it Sakogu decree like Inazuma, but in a way they are doing the same thing. Making a surprise appearance, Yelan helped us by killing this ruined serpent. When we got to the entrance of the chasm nail area, it was shut and sealed with a key with the most original name, Curious Cube. The weird thing is, she knew how to disable a nail's levitation function and use it as a weapon without seeing it before. This means she might have more information on the underground mines than we think. So she might be the one to guide us to Sumeru through this place that looks suspiciously green and full of life for a cave filled with purple goo. The map of the chasm and the underground mines doesn't exactly line up, but roughly using the two treasure hoarder holes, the green cave lines up to this place. The cave on top of it might also lead us further into Sumeru. I don't know, what do you think? Will we ask Baiju to revive the shriveled up seed and plant it where the Dendro monolith might be and grow a tree that makes us a path to the secret cave? Of all the people we have met from Sumeru, only one person is a regular resident of Sumeru. Everyone else is a researcher. Wahid from the Sumeru regional shop sells a type of fertilizer called Annihilation Blessing. Annihilation comes from the Iranian goddess of royalty, war, and fertility, Anahita, making the person who made it a goddess for the regular people of Sumeru. It could be this Jill Wahid's thought bubble says about. But the weird thing is, even if he is not a researcher, he is very uninformed, even about the simplest things as crushing leaves and mixing water with it. It looks like the people from Sumeru are either geniuses or extremely dense. Since the number of regular residents is also low, there is a possibility that Sumeru might have a very weak military. Most of the protection duties will be handed down to the different circles and the adventurers willing to deal with the monsters and other threats. Even though the class system is not a part of Sumeru looking from above, different circles are competing with each other. There's the witch cult like Hexensical, which Alice is part of, and there are the family lines like the Purbirones. When it comes to the enemies, there is going to be a shit ton of snakes. Like Narukami Island is littered with foxes, the deserts of Sumeru will be crawling with snakes. Hehe. Sorry, I'll get back to the video. If we look at the ruined automatons, all have one thing in common. They all are made to mimic a living creature we can see every day in Teyvat. Ruin guards mimic the lava trolls. The size and the lunging attack are almost the same. Ruin destroyers are mimics of the already good at mimicking whopper flowers. Kinda ironic, isn't it? Ruin crossers, destroyers, and scouts doesn't have monsters as originals, but we may see the original creatures they use to biomimesis in the future regions. Perpetual Mechanical Array mimics the hypostasis behavior with all its mechanical cubes. If the ruined automatons we run into mimic real monsters and animals, it's safe to assume the ruined serpent is also mimicking a real serpent boss. Take the name Sumeru. Its origins come from the Sanskrit word Su and Meru, which means great, and the name Meru. As Sumeru, some of you might not know this. If I say Mahameru, it will click something. Mahameru Parvata is a mythical mountain from Buddhist and Hindu mythologies, which many believe is Mount Himalaya. According to Buddha, we still can't see this mountain, but once the rain stopped falling for hundreds of thousands of years, the snow on top of the mountain will dissolve, and the regular people will be able to see it. But by that time, humans will no longer be able to live on the earth due to extreme heat from multiple suns. Eventually, the 160,000 Yodun high mountain will erupt and burn the earth until nothing is left. According to Hindus, it is also the center of the universe. There, the world is depicted as the world sits on top of a tortoise that sits on a snake that surrounds the entire system. So, there we have our snake boss. I'm not surprised if it becomes one of the weekly bosses. I'll gladly take a snake over a spider any day of the week. Revisiting all this information, I believe Sumeru is mostly based on South Asian civilizations, more than the southwest side of Asia and Egypt. There are hints of Persian and Arabic culture in naming and clothing conventions, but that might be due to India getting invaded by the North all over history reflected in Sumeru in-game. Also, the deserts might contain pyramid ruins from an ancient civilization like Salvandegnia. With that statement, I close my speculations. And this is a piece of my madness. I might be knowledgeable in terms of the South Asian part of the Sumeru lore, but I would like to see someone from the southwest side who is not just reading Wikipedia pages, explaining the region in their eyes. Because half the things in our culture are entangled into a mess that Google fries itself. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments and check out these cool videos. And if you like them, join the madness by hitting that subscribe button. This is just a theory in a random dude's head on the internet. This was Akamin, and until next time, let your imaginations run wild.